In episode 1, we began our 5-day journey along the Cross Cape gravel route from Plettenberg Bay to Stellenbosch, while pausing to experience as many off-the-bike adventures as possible. We had enjoyed oysters, kayaking, riding quad bikes, a good braai and more between Plet, Neisner and George before taking on our biggest bike challenge yet, the Montagu Pass. As the Montagu Pass winds its way up and out of George, it can be tricky to discern where it summits. With many blind corners and tight turns, it can almost feel endless. The pass is in good condition, with just the right amount of loose rocky moments to keep things interesting. With the endorphins flowing, we took a moment to look back on the breathtaking terrain we had just conquered.
The scale and length of this path does have us questioning a bit when we're ever actually going to get to the top of it. I mean, the views are beautiful, but it's just going on and on and on. Of Montagu Pass. Quite a lengthy climb, but just beautiful views, kept on ticking away. A couple spicy looking corners.
Yeah, when you're coming up from the bottom, as the climb presents itself, you tend to wonder if you're going to be able to have the power on the legs to turn the pedals up some of the punchy stuff. But really, it is rideable, and it gives you that time when you're taking it as slowly as we were to just check things out. There's so many trails that run off these mountains, beautiful stream right next to the road. I've not spent much time in George, none really, always passed through it, but without a doubt I'm coming back here with my enduro bike as well.
Beautiful. Let's keep rolling on to Harold.
We were now halfway through our journey. We could feel the change in pace to something more relaxed, and we were happily settling into it. We were not the only ones taking advantage of the superb weather conditions. It was great to see plenty of people getting outside and enjoying the splendor of the Western Cape winter.
Yeah, we interrupt this episode to bring our Australian viewers a little bit of eye candy. Harold's Wines is a place we wanted to stop over and grab something to eat, but unfortunately because of all the lockdowns we aren't able to do that. But in saying that, it seems like quite a strange place, or rather an interesting place, or a difficult place to grow grapes, to produce wine. Intriguing, and definitely somewhere that I think we're going to have to pay a visit in the future.
Not being able to enjoy some fine wine at the Harold Wine Estate, we happened to stumble across a bit of a gem. It was the Over the Mountain Guest House and Tea Garden, just a bit further on from the wine estate. We found out that the quaint farmhouse has accommodation for up to 26 people and can confirm that their food was scrumptious. Roosterkoek and scones were the order of the day, and it was a fitting toast to our Montague efforts before setting off to Oudtshoorn for a slightly more wild experience. We weren't entirely sure what to expect when arriving at the Buffelsdrift Game Lodge for an elephant feeding experience, but it is safe to say that what we got was something completely unique. The trio of rescued elephant, while enormous, were gentle but playful. Spending a few brief moments with them before they moved off back into the wild was something we will never forget.
I've never watched this happen. Got elephant schnoz on it.
There are a variety of other wildlife experiences to enjoy at Buffelsdrift, including meerkat and cheetah safaris, along with luxury tented accommodation on the banks of a hippo-filled dam. The Oudtshoorn region is popular for these kinds of wildlife experiences, but our accommodation at the Swartberg Manor that evening would take us north out of town to rest under the majestic Swartberg Mountains, a pass we had become familiar with on our karoo crossing. Now well away from the busier towns, we sat back and enjoyed the gentle fading light on snow-dusted peaks. We had to throw a couple of ostrich steaks on the braai, of course, being in the Klein Karoo. The day-to-day flow of the riding and seeing the Cape at a slower pace meant that our shoulders were well dropped by now. With uncharted territory ahead and much ground to cover en route to Greyton, we would hit the road early in the morning. Unfortunately, having to miss out on a tasty breakfast at the manor due to our early start, we were rewarded with beautiful morning light as we snaked our way along the gravel road to Calitzdorp, bringing back fond memories of our karoo crossing ride which shared this section of road.
Lovely fresh morning house, just off the Rooiberg Pass. It's a bit chilly. Might be a jackets and gloves kind of day.
The gravel road between Calitzdorp and Van Wyksdorp makes its way south before heading up and over the Gamkeberg Nature Reserve. We attempted to warm up the legs and bodies in the approach to the pass, but were more successful at acquiring ice cream headaches from the chilly morning air. Neither of us had explored this region of the Klein Karoo, and thus were not quite sure what we were in for on the Rooiberg Pass.
Incredible to see the landscape shift over the days. I've always been someone that's maybe a little bit reserved when it comes to exploring the Karoo, because the idea of it is always been it's dry and unforgiving, and it's dry and for the most part unforgiving, but damn, it's beautiful. You don't get to see rock structures, formations, valleys like this anywhere else. It is unique beyond words.
That's a sign we're at the top.
It says Rooiberg Pass, 797 meters of elevation, and it was built in 1928. And it took us about that much time to ride up here.
What would it have been? Hour 32.
Not too bad, not too bad.
The southern side of the pass was our longest descent yet, and we were glad to let gravity do some work for a change. We could just sit back and enjoy the kilometers ticking away and have a bit more fun as we finished off the first of two passes that we'd be riding en route to Greyton. Hopping into the Hilux once again to cover some ground, we drove along a stunning section of the route to Gracias Pass, just north of Riversdale. Setting off as we hit the tar above the pass, this was another unknown for us, which surprisingly had more descending than climbing. We weaved our way along and through some high mountains before bombing down into Riversdale and a much anticipated refuel at O'Mule Bakery. We had heard about some potential roadside pools to swim in towards the Boersmansbos Reserve, and we cruised through the farmlands to find them. This is the heart of dairy country in the Western Cape. The winter runoff was certainly fresh, but that was probably for the better after some good hours on the bikes. Setting off for our final night at Greyton Lodge, we unfortunately didn't have the time to stop off in Swellendam, where one could easily spend a few days exploring the town and surrounding nature reserves. Greeted by comfortable rooms that opened out into a lovely garden courtyard, we were once again unwinding for the final day at the beautiful Greyton Lodge. The town of Greyton is only a couple of hours from Cape Town, and is another adventure hub we were glad to be stopping over at. The Greyton mountain bike trails are highly regarded, and we took the morning to head out and explore some of the ones closer to town with the help of a Strava search.
Some of the more eagle-eyed viewers might have also noticed Doug has chosen to accessorize his farm gate with some full-on downhill pedals. Just what you need for gravel riding, eh?
I find they so versatile.
With much more to do between great hiking, lovely restaurants, of which we enjoyed a brilliant dinner and service at Rupert's Bistro, Greyton is on the repeat list for sure. We made sure to enjoy our breakfast at Greyton Lodge before leaving town, and just as well, we were unassuming to the kind of challenge Franschhoek Pass would pose us. We put wheels to the gravel a few kilometers before Kloof Dam Bridge and would soon be on our approach to Franschhoek Pass.
Kloof, very large dam. Quite windy too.
With the first signs of bad weather brewing for our entire trip, the pace was on to reach Stellenbosch before the rain. We were already thinking about trading in our intended ice creams at the finish for something a bit warmer. The back of Franschhoek Pass was unrelenting. Sweeping corner after sweeping corner, we slogged our way for a bit longer than anticipated.
Looks like we're locked in. We're not going to be able to eat for the duration of Franschhoek Pass. Feeding up baboons prohibited. Hope you've eaten enough, Doug.
Winter has been good. Hibernation's been effective.
Sounds like it.
So I think I've got the surplus to get me up. Filling up on jungle bars and
Energies.
yeah. That was definitely longer than expected.
It was a bit. But weather, more superb than expected, which was a bit of a blessing. And you survived.
Barely. But I must say, to tick off another pass, feels good. One to go.
One more to go. Let's hit it. Phew! That is quite incredible.
The popular tourist town of Franschhoek, or surrounding wine farms, would really serve as an equally great location to draw your Cross-Cape adventure to a close, but we would press on for the final few kilometers into Stellenbosch.
A little bit of a change of plan from the ice creams we had in mind at the top of Franschhoek.
I think inappropriate to change of plan.
Your face a little bit
A little
red.
bit fresh on the way down, but
Some spattering of rain.
we've made it.
Yeah, so we traded in the ice creams for 18 coffee. I think a fitting finish to what's been a jam-packed 5 days.
Unreal 5 days, yeah. Absolutely amazing. The mountains have blown our mind. Trail's been great.
Good, we're coming back.
Do be coming back.
With warm 18 coffee goodness in our bodies, we came to terms with the 5 days of incredible adventure that we had just completed and cannot wait to get another helping of. The Cape cycle routes are available for free to everyone. Our suggestion is that you plan your own gravel adventure and then shape it to your desires. The Cross Cape had delivered superbly, and then some. We can't wait to come back.